his dad was caught. Dirk's father was caught by the FBI with $8 million worth of cocaine. Life in the street. Growing up without their father meant that Von and Dirk were exposed to the life of gang violence and crime at a very young age. Von, alongside fellow rapper G Herbo, attended Hyde Park Academy, and this is where they first met. Von wanted the normal life, and this is why he played baseball. However, Von was never really good at school. He couldn't escape the life of violence around him, and he was eventually sucked into it. Von was notorious for stealing bikes, various times, amongst other crimes, that saw him sent to juvenile detention. These crimes were the major reason why he never finished high school. Dirk attended Paul Robeson High School, where he played basketball. Dirk was never good at school either. With his father in prison, things became hard for him and his family. Dirk had to move into his grandma's 3-bedroom apartment where food was hard to eat and there were nights he had to sleep on the floor. Dirk had to take up responsibility at a very young age, and this is why he started hustling on the streets and got involved in a life of crime. He eventually dropped out of high school at the age of 17 when he had his first child. Dirk and Von's criminal record. Various sources state that it was at this time that both men joined the largest street gang in Chicago, the Black Disciples. After joining the Black Disciples, both men were arrested for various crimes. King Von earned his first trip to prison when he robbed someone at gunpoint and stole his car. The judge in the court at that time only agreed to dismiss the charges against King Von. If he decides to go to a boot camp, that'll encourage him to be a better person. He decided to go to the boot camp. Still, the boot camp didn't influence him as positively as it should because he committed more crimes after the boot camp. He went to prison 2 consecutive times. The first lasted for 14 months, while the second lasted for 15 months. King Von's longest time in jail was for a 3.5-year stretch while he was awaiting trial because he gunned a man named Malcolm Stuckey at Inglewood Party in 2014 when he was only 19 years old. Von was charged with murdering Stuckey and injuring 2 others. Michael Wade, who was King Von's friend, was there with him during the incident and also reportedly shot off about 15 rounds. Michael Wade was ultimately sentenced to 28 years in prison, while King Von was fully acquitted of all charges and set free. Likewise, Dirk had a number of charges. He was arrested for the first time in October 2011. Dirk was arrested for possession of a firearm with the defaced serial number. This is a serious offense as it signifies to the authorities that the gun owner is using the firearm for criminal and illegal reasons. He was eventually given a reduced sentence of 3 months because he pled guilty to the charges against him. He was arrested again in 2013 for unlawful use of a weapon by a convicted felon. He was eventually released a month later after settling the bond. As at this time, both men were following in their father's footsteps and would probably end up spending a long time in prison. However, both men turned their life around by focusing on music. Dirk established the OTF label and signed Von to his label in 2018. In December of the same year, he released his breakout single, Crazy Story. The song was quite successful, and Von released Crazy Story 2.0 featuring Lil Durk. In September 2019, Von released a 15-track mixtape, Grandson Volume 1. Von was on the rise as one of Chicago's latest rising stars, and the mixtape debuted at number 75 on the Billboard 200 charts. In March 2020, Von released another mixtape named after his favorite basketball player, LeBron James. The mixtape was titled LeBron James and peaked at number 63 on the Billboard 200. The mixtape featured verses from NLE Choppa, T Grizzly, G Herbo, Lil Durk, and YNW Melly, among others. Then, in October 2020, Von released his debut studio album, Welcome to O-Block. The album had 16 songs, but Von never lived long enough to enjoy the success of his album as he was killed just a week later. Now, the second part of this video reveals the truth Dirk reveals about Von's death, but before we delve into that, don't forget to like and subscribe to Rap Central and watch more videos like this one. The death of King Von. The death of King Von was a sad and rude awakening for many members of the rap community. One week, he had released his debut album, and then a few days later, the Chicago rapper was dead. King Von was shot after his album party outside a nightclub in Atlanta.
What you say?
Von and his crew got into an altercation with Savannah rapper Rondo who outside the club.
Boy, you sound like you're a million miles away, boy. What you said?
Nah, I just said, what's up?
Yo, bro, can I hear the guard?
My guard?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can run it up.